Hola YouTube, Retro Ranger here once again. And yes, I have my hat braided. I love it, love it, love it. But beyond the hat is not where I love it. Let's see. Yeah, I feel ghetto now. Like I want to pimp slap a couple of bitches, you know. Take that out of context. This one I'm gonna try to go as fast as possible. I'm gonna answer one of K-Cam's questions to, I think a video of mine, or she left it on my page. I'm not really sure. Let me check 1 second really quickly. But I'm gonna answer one of her questions, or those of her questions. I'm not sure. Let me see what it was. It was so it's to one of my videos. I think it's that one. Please tell me this. Okay. Okay, so it says, oh my god, well, I'm not cute, so whatever. But it says, I would love to hear more about what it was like to be gay in Jamaica, because I know it's uber taboo. Uber taboo is not even the word. It is extremely homophobic in Jamaica. I grew up there when I was 4, and my mom got sick when I turned 5, so I didn't stay there very long, but I do visit from time to time. One thing I do remember when I was 4 while living there is my father and my uncles, a couple of their friends, they castrated a gay man, yes. Well, doing the whole thing, they chopped his member off. Doing the whole thing, they yelled, Batiman, Chichiman, Batiboy, Fassi. All words meaning faggot or gay man. Other than that, like, when I do go back there now, I do have to butch it up to hang around certain members of my family, because I live in Kingston. Now Kingston is like the real ghetto part, like the rural part of Jamaica. Montego Bay, Spanish Town could be, kind of. Gosh, I think it's a couple of places where it's okay not to be gay, but like they're the tourist sites, so it's not gonna be that much, you know, going on. I told my dad, and at first he was very angry with me, very upset, because I mean, I'm a dude, not supposed to like other dudes. But he came around and he told me, he was like, I have to accept you, you're my son, and I can't condemn you because I fell in love with your mother and she was bisexual. Isn't that interesting? Like a year ago, I ran into my mom's ex-girlfriend when I was in Walmart about a year ago. I'm walking by and she's like, Des? And that's my middle name. My middle name is Desmond, and most people call me Des instead of Noah, because that's no nickname, or there's no way to make that a nickname, so they call me Des. And I look at her and I'm like, not many people call me by that. So I look, and so I turned around and I was like, Sean, because that was her name, right? And we had this talk, and it was a chat, and she told me how adult I've gotten and how big and tall I got, the whole rundown that I actually hear when I meet people that haven't seen me since I was young. So that's pretty much that. And let's see. And this is also to answer Mike's question. He asked me on my video, my first official blog, he asked me, is this my real voice, my real accent? Is this accent mine? And yes, it is. It's a mix of English and, like, you know, English, UK, and Jamaican, Patois, which is the Jamaican language, which I speak a little bit, but I understand it fluently. That's pretty much, yeah, it's my real voice. I can't say anything else about that much, you know. And I also want to say to Kayce, my condolences goes out to you. I know how it feels to have a grandmother in the hospital. Before my grandmother died, I visited her once, and it hurt me so much cause I mean, like, she had cancer, breast cancer, and to see her without her hair, and I walked in when the lady was doing the sonogram on her boob, and it was just like a really emotional time for me because I'm so used to seeing her strong and feisty, and this is the woman that raised my sister, so it was kind of hard to sit in the room at the same time in this plastic uniform, and it made it like hurt me so much because the thoughts that went through my mind was, I can't lose my grandmother. I lost my mom, my sister, and my grandma. I can't lose her. I love Nana, you know. And like 4 months ago, I was in a Publix, and I saw one of my cousins, and they walked up to me, and they're like, hey, what's been up, Des? I'm like, I'm good, I'm fine. So how's grandmother been, right? And they looked at me, and they're like, Grandma's been dead for like 2 months. We had her funeral 2 months ago. And I nearly just broke down in the middle of the store. I couldn't take it. It was just like too much to bear. Like, one second, please. Alright. Like, we, oh God. Alright. Like, my grandmother was the glue that held me and my sister together because we argued so much, like, and the last week I spent with my sister was amazing because we went to Georgia to spend time with my country family, which is great, and the whole ride there we argued, and my grandmother somehow made us both cry at the same time, and we were like hugging each other, and we're like, I love you, and I love you, and I'll miss her always. My grandmother had a twin sister one time, and this one time I was at this place, and me not knowing everyone, I walk up to her and I'm like yelling, and I'm arguing to her about my sister Victoria, and I'm like, Vicky's always yelling at me, she's doing this and she's doing that, and the lady looks at me and she's like, who are you? And I'm like, Grandma, how could you say this? And my grandma turns around and I'm faced with like 2 people with my grandmother's face, and I just stop and I'm like, and she finally tells me that's her sister Helen and she's Helena. So I was like, oh, I felt so stupid and I was shocked, you know. Other than that, yeah, your brother might just be avoiding hospitals because it's like avoiding death, avoiding thoughts of them passing. That's how I usually do it. I didn't like to go to the hospital when my sister was there, and I visited her once, and that's the thing I hate, because I feel like I'm the ghost of death, because I visited my grandmother and she passed. I visited my sister, and like, I didn't want to stay because I hate hospitals. I dislike hospitals, and I asked my aunt, can I leave with her? And I told Vicky I loved her, and it was like this whole meaningful thing, because it's just me, my father, and a stepbrother left, and it's very hard to like get close to Dimitri because I don't know him that well. So other than that, yeah. And like the next day she passed, and all I can remember is like me crying, me like beating myself up because I couldn't been there. And thank God these glasses are like great savers. And yeah, so I want to try to end this on a happy note. So in the words of Schnitzel and apparently Johnny Pixel 7, rada rada rada. Okay, Retro Ranger out.